Welcome to another episode of What Even Is D&D. Today's episode is Playstyles and Settings. If you haven't watched the first episode yet, I would recommend going back to the playlist and starting with episode 1. But if you've followed up until now, you're probably ready for playing a game. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Before that, you need to figure out what playstyle you want and what settings you want. Now, playstyle. There's a variety. It's just like with a movie or a TV series, you can have different different styles, different genres. You can have the dark, gritty playstyle, or you can have the silly, goofy playstyle. You can even have romantic playstyle. Um, you can have a mix. You can be a hero. You can be a villain. Uh, Difficult to do, but you can be a villain. And the settings, where it all takes place. Now, that is a bit dependent on the expansions that you have available to you as well, but there's the Eberron expansion, for instance, in Dungeons and Dragons, where it's kind of magical technology. It's nice, but a lot of people tend to play in the Forgotten Realms, which is Dungeons and Dragons, basically. That's Dungeons and Dragons settings, but you are not limited to that. Finding a dungeon master that and group that suit your playstyle and settings can also be difficult, but we'll talk about that in a future episode. But for now, figuring out what your playstyle is. Now, you can figure that out by what kind of characters or games do you like to play? What kind of movies do you like to watch? Do you like slice of life? Do you like mystery, comedy, romantic comedy? Do you like flirty? Do you like action, adventure? There's no end to what you can play. A good question to ask yourself is, the character you built, what do you want them to do? Some people don't build their characters until they find their groups, because then they can. Some people like to build their characters around what the group needs. But for your first time, and honestly in general, it's best to figure out what you want and what you would enjoy the most, because the game is for you and for everybody else. But if you're not having fun, it's not exactly going to be a good environment for other people to have fun. So figuring out your play style can be essential to that. Now, the settings are less important, but they can be they can have an effect on it, basically. For instance, if you want to play on the open seas, be a pirate. Or in a magical city that floats above the clouds. Do you want to have a campaign in the Neverending Story or in the Princess Bride world? All of that's possible. But you've got to figure out what you want first. So take a minute when you're watching TV. This is a good way to figure it out. Watching some of your favorite shows. And imagine your character in that show. Maybe not exactly your character, because, if your show's, I don't know, mystery or crime show, having somebody who can do magic, is not exactly going to be realistic. But in your mind, kind of picture how your character would play a role in that show. And that can tell you if that setting is right for you and your character. Now, you don't have to stick with the character you created. If you've decided, I like this character, but I want to be in a more this setting, and that character doesn't fit like this, you can mix and match. You can try things out. You can start a new character, or you can alter the character you already have. But the play style is essential, because if you are used to silly and you go into a kind of dark, gritty action style, you might not feel comfortable. So it's important to figure that out and to talk to your group. Um, Settings, again, they enhance things. Having, uh, for instance, one of the main cities in the Forgotten Realms on the Sword Coast is Waterdeep. Waterdeep is this huge coastal city, and it's great if you like interacting with a lot of NPCs. You have a lot of options for shopping, magical equipment, just a plethora of things. But if you start in a little podunk town, it may seem like you don't have as many options, but it opens the door for so much more. In a large city, if you're trying to become the heroes of the story, it's going to take a long time for your renown to spread, for people to know these are the heroes, the saviors. You start in a small city. Well, did you guys hear about the heroes that saved little podunk town? Oh man, dragon swooped in and they took it on. The setting can enhance or take away from what you're doing, and all of them have pros and cons. Like I said, Eberron, I bring that up again because it's the first one that comes to my mind, but there are other ones, trust me. Um, like Spelljammer's Academy, I think, is another. I think that's the space one. Not sure. Again, I am a new DM, so give me time. But the point is, they all have their pros and cons, and it's important to think about what you want in your settings, in your playstyle. If you want to be a hero, either or can work for you. But if you want results quick, a smaller town. If you want results earned and over time, maybe a bigger town is good for you. If resources are important to you, a bigger town might be essential. But small town has limited resources, and that can force you to adapt. Really, it forces you to play things out a little bit more and go a bit more into the role play. Like, I don't have the component that I need for this spell, and the next closest town is miles away. So I've got to convince the party we got to book it over here so I can get this component for this spell. Not have to worry about it. I know 5th edition isn't as intense with spell components. An older edition, 3.5, that I used to play was more in depth with spell components, even though I myself did not play that much with spell components. But my whole point here is, sorry, got on a little bit of a rant. The settings and the playstyle is important. So give it a thought. Now, once again, I do not have any questions. So if you guys have any questions at all, you want to know something, throw them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer. If you don't want it in the video, you can say so in the comments. But if you don't say anything, I'll most likely throw it in the video. So, have any questions? I'll do my best to answer them. And if I need to help, I'll reach out and ask somebody to help answer. If you want to learn more, there is a playlist, and coming up at the end of this video, there will be a subscribe button or channel button or whatever, playlist, and recommended video. If you haven't watched the entirety of the playlist, I'd recommend going through and watching it if you're new to D&D. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this video, please like, and if you like my content, please subscribe. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.